right, awesome. Okay, so thank you everybody for jumping on. This is our first time doing a live coach sneak peek. So the purpose of this is just to kind of go over what we all do as Beachbody coaches and kind of give you an opportunity to meet the team. And I know some of you were on here just to provide feedback for me so that the next time we do the coach call, it can be even more productive. So I know that a lot of times people hear about what Beachbody coaching is, but they're not exactly sure what it's all about. So what I wanted to start with is I wanted to just tell you a little bit about my story and why I chose to become a Beachbody coach. So it's actually pretty funny how it ended up really happening. But a little bit of backstory is that after college, I was always an athlete, and I struggled with basically finding something that I really liked to do to keep the weight off because I was so used to playing softball and volleyball competitively and going to practice, you had to. So after college, I kind of, just didn't really find my niche. Like I would go to the gym, would kind of dabble in at-home workouts here and there. I love to spin, but I would only go for like a short amount of time. I would try like some of the group fitness classes at the gym, and I always ended up like quitting on myself. Same thing about the healthy eating. Like I would eat healthy for a certain period of time and I knew what to do, but then I would just kind of give it up and throw it all away. And usually it would happen on the weekends that it would start. So it was a struggle of mine for a while, probably about 10 years or so after college, that I couldn't really find anything that was working for me, but it was important enough for me to try to figure it out. I remember attending like parties with my friend Erica. Like we went to a wrap party where you get wrapped to help you lose like a couple inches around your stomach. I remember trying yoga, which was like I had done the South Beach diet after reading. So now I tried, it always seemed like it was a quick fix and it never stuck. And so I kind of figured it, like I'm getting old. I guess that's just the way it is. You get old and you kind of like slow down and you gain weight and you're happy and that's it. But I wasn't really willing to settle for that. And so I kept kind of trying things on my own. And eventually somebody from Beachbody Coach had reached out to me and she presented the opportunity to me, and I told Mike about it. And this is the funny part. He was like, that's a scam. Like, you're not doing that. They're just trying to like sell you products. And, I don't want you doing that. Like, it's going to be a waste of your time. Like everything else that you've tried, like you're always a sucker for like the infomercials and buying programs and all kinds of stuff, and you never use them. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I just told her no, that I wasn't interested. And then literally, it was probably like a few weeks later, Mike came home and he was like, guess what we're going to do? And I was like, what? And he's like, we're going to drink Shakeology and we're going to do T25. And I signed up as a coach today under my group fitness instructor, Elizabeth. And I like wanted to kill him because I had wanted to do this like a few weeks prior. Might have been a few months prior. But thank goodness that he did do that, because it was truly the first thing that had ever worked for me, and there was a lot of reasons why. So I'm just going to go through them really quickly in terms of why this really helped me. So the reason it was the best thing that ever happened to me is because I found my program that really worked. I understood how the eating worked with it, and I loved the workouts, and that was the 21-day fix. And typically I would have just in fact, it stayed in my office for months. And I didn't know what the portion containers were. I kind of dabbled in drinking the shakes, like did it when I felt like it, dabbled in doing the workouts. And then one day, my coach, Elizabeth, who's on this call, who's actually going to speak next, she just one day, I remember she was just like, Jess, you just need to do it. Like, get your shit together and do it. And I was like, like, I'm scared. She's like, take the stuff out of the box, look at it, read it, and start it on day one. do it for 21 days and then tell me if you're, if it's not working. I was like, okay. And she plugged me into an accountability group, and I felt like this sense of I was accountable to somebody other than myself. And I remember how out of shape I felt when I started doing it, and I did it anyway, and she made me submit my stupid before picture, and I hated it, but I did it anyway, and I was so determined to prove to her and to the group that I could do it. So having that small group community filled with a lot of positive people all pushing one another was very intriguing to me. And then all along the way, in terms of physical things that I wanted for my body, I was also missing something emotionally. My friends would always tell me they'd have parties, sex toy parties, even all kinds of parties. And even after drinking a few glasses of wine or whatever, I'd always be like, maybe I'll do that on the side. Maybe I'll sell sex toys, or maybe I'll sell 31 bags or whatever. I knew that I wanted to have this other purpose, and I wanted to make money on the side, but I didn't exactly want to sell anything. Like my friends always said, I could sell a potato chip, and I do. If I think they're good, I will. But I felt uncomfortable just kind of pushing products at people. So once I really got into this positive community, I realized that they were all about just sharing, and it wasn't really pushing any products. In fact, you don't even need to buy any products to do this business. You simply just get results and share them. So once I realized that I was going to be surrounded by inspiration and positivity, I kind of wanted more of that. So obviously I got results in those 21 days. I lost 8 pounds, and I started getting motivated to actually work the business. And people wanted to know what I was doing. So it was just kind of happening naturally. And it was also fulfilling me emotionally. I felt like I wanted to make a difference in the world other than just teaching kids how to read and write, because kids aren't always appreciative of that or see the impact. So I really wanted to help people to change their lifestyle. So I started realizing I could do that with this business and earn an extra income, which is something I always wanted. So it was a perfect fit. I don't think this business is for everybody, which is the reason why I don't present the opportunity to everybody. I think we're all looking for a certain kind of person that's positive and motivated that we want on this team. But I think for anybody who does have those qualities, it is such an awesome opportunity for you to really make the business what you want it, whether it's just extra money to get a pedicure, manicure, or you want to do it full time like me, or you just want a discount because you love the products. I just think it's a really great opportunity. So that's kind of why I joined. I'm going to pass it over to Elizabeth now, and she's going to get into a little bit about how this business has kind of changed her life financially, which is pretty amazing. So I'm going to try and fire and click. Yeah, Amy, maybe you can help if I can't figure it out.
You're all pinned, Elizabeth. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right, awesome. I've never done this from my phone. I see everybody but myself. This is a little weird. So hello, and it's so good to be here with Jess and her team. I'm so privileged to be talking to you guys.
Show us baby Bryson.
This is baby Bryson. He's chillaxing, and poor Simone is having some kind of allergic reaction, so I'm going to have to go get her in the shower pretty soon. Hopefully just a little Benadryl will take care of this, but this is what a mom boss is all about. So yeah, I'm excited to be here, and I am suffering from mommy brain, so I hope I get everything that's in my heart into my mouth and out to you guys. But as Jess mentioned, I do have the privilege of being her upline coach. I was originally Mike's upline coach. And then, I kind of bullied him out of the way when I saw how amazing his wife was. And I'm like, your wife can coach you and I will coach her. And that worked out great for everybody. And so, so it'll be almost 8 years ago this January that I signed up as a coach. And at the time, I was working full-time as an attorney, and I practiced law for about 7 years before I retired to do this full-time. By this, I mean this, and also health, fitness, and business. And I didn't actually set out with that as my end goal. I knew that being a stay-at-home mom, a full-time mom, is what I wanted to do. As my daughter cries because her face is itching her, this is what I wanted to do. Baby girl, come here. What's the matter? Oh, okay. I know. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. All right. Oh, put your head down. You want to put your head down? Are you all right? Yeah, she's just itchy. Mommy needs to get her in the bath. And so I want to talk a little bit about how this evolved for me. And there are two reasons why I'm a little nervous to do that. Number one, when I talk about the money aspect of it, it can either attract the wrong people who are just like, oh, this sounds like a get rich quick scheme and I want to do that. Or it can scare people away who say, I don't want that. I like my job. I don't need what she has. And that sounds really scary and intimidating, and I don't want that. So for me, I started out really just helping people and kind of goofing off with my friends on Facebook and getting fit. That's all I did. And I helped other people do that. And I just did that for a really long time. And after kind of 2 years of just kind of goofing around, I started to see the kind of money that would pay my student loan payment. And for me, that's really what I needed to do. I needed to just pay my student loan payment because, you know, even though I was making okay money as an attorney, you know, it's not free to be an attorney. I still had to pay for continuing legal education. I had commuting costs. And if we had kids, they'd be in daycare. Daycare costs an arm and a leg. So when we kind of ran the numbers, it really was not, it didn't make a lot of financial sense for me to keep working. It was like a very negligible net benefit. And so after a few years of building my business, it was enough to cover my student loan payment. And that was just like, that was glorious. So, and then we were able to start our family. And if I wanted to, I could have just kept practicing law and then had this business on the side. But I really did want to be at home with my babies. And yes, there are some days when I wonder why on earth I ever wanted to do that. Because it's not an easy job at all. But you know, over time, I was able not only to dig myself out of student loan debt, but also make a six-figure income for myself. And I don't say that as like ooh, look at me, I'm so fancy and blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't easy, and it took a lot of time. And it just really took a lot of persistence of helping people. But setting aside the numbers, I want to tell you, I just read in Business Insider that what the new American dream is, it's not financial. It's freedom. It's freedom to be with your family. It's freedom to kind of call your own shots. And so for me, that's what this business has done. And I'm going to have to cut it short now, unfortunately, because I do have to get my daughter in the bath. She is absolutely miserable. I don't know what she got into, but she's breaking out in hives. And I'm like, sweating. But for me, I mean, this has been transformative just because not only did it end a career that was extremely stressful for me, and it started a new career that was also extremely stressful as of being a mom. Different kind of stress. But just the level of freedom and being able to, you know, this is my work. You know, I spent 5 minutes on a call with some lovely people, with Jess's team, whom I adore. I'm in my pajamas. I mean, there are worse ways to spend your workday. Really. I mean, there really are far worse ways. So I just want to kind of leave you with this. If the numbers that I've talked about have scared you or intrigued you, you owe it to yourself to explore that. If you are willing to help other people, like that is crucial. What we do is not about peddling crap. Okay, there are plenty of businesses where you could go do that. There are fat blockers and fat burners, and people, let me tell you, people buy that a lot easier than they buy actual fitness and nutrition. If that's what you want, then I don't think our business is the right thing. But if you love the idea of helping people and you want to be the best version of yourself, then this is the business for you. So I gotta go, guys. I'm sorry. Thank you for having me. Good luck. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, awesome. So thank you, Elizabeth. We're going to go over to Danielle, and she's going to cover just a few of your, or what we actually face a whole lot in terms of misconceptions about what it means to be a Beachbody coach, and maybe even, I don't know, misconceptions. And what else did you say, Danielle? Like challenges we face?
I'm having, just some objections and
Yeah.
that might come to your mind. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this is the beautiful redheaded vixen, Danielle.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm sorry, I'm in my car. This is, okay, so let me just share real quickly. Elizabeth is my upline, and she invited me to this business. I've been doing this for 6 years now. 6 years, crazy. And it's interesting because when I started this business, I was where Elizabeth is at now. Okay, so I started building this business, or when I started, I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I wasn't thinking of building a business, and I had little babies, toddlers, school age kids, and it was just craziness. And I remember Elizabeth presenting this to me, and I was like, well, first of all, I'm not a fitness person at all. So I don't know what you want me to do with this fitness business. I had results. I loved the workouts. I actually did not drink Shakeology to start out. I thought it was too expensive, but I signed up to coach because I thought, well, I love these workouts and maybe I can make a little money on the side and it might be something I could do. But I had a lot of objections even after I signed up, because here it was, I had to do things on Facebook where I was extremely computer illiterate. I did not know anything about social media. Poor Elizabeth had probably, I would ask her the same 5 questions over and over, as far as how do I post a picture to Facebook? I didn't even know how to do that, okay? So if you're saying, I don't know what to do with social media, I don't know, I see you guys doing all this stuff, and do I have to be, you know what, you don't have to, because we're going to work through that with you, and the coach who invited you is going to love you and help you learn those things, and you can ask lots of stupid questions over and over, because I did. And you know what's really cool, and I was thinking about this as Elizabeth was talking, and even Jess as you were talking, what's really cool about this is the reason you were invited tonight to this little coaching sneak peek glance, whatever it is because your coach saw something in you. And you know, I think about that. Elizabeth invited me because she saw something in me, and that really just humbles me and makes me excited, and to even think that your team is going to support you and love you and help you learn through these things that you're like, I have no clue how to build a business. I still don't know how to build a business, guys, but I'm learning, and I have people to support me and help me, and an incredible team. And honestly, I would be a coach even just for the team aspect of it in the community. It has meant everything to me. I have met people, even Jess, your team is because of coaching. I would not have known you otherwise. And I think that is the greatest gift of all, the community that's come from it. So I was not super fit when I started. I still had mommy weight to lose. I was still on my journey. I was still starting out. I thought, well, Elizabeth, what are people going to think? I don't look like a fitness instructor. What are people going to think? But you know what? I had a story to tell, and it was my own story, and it would relate to my people. And each of us has that story, even if you're still in the middle of your story. And honestly, we're always in the middle of our story. I mean, I've lost 40 pounds, but I'm still building my story. I'm still working on it. And I just want to invite people to come along with me. And that's what this is all about. It's inviting people into your story and into your journey. And so sometimes it seems a little scary because there's all these unknowns. I mean, I'm not a fitness professional. Maybe you are, and you're like, well, I don't know how I would relate this. We have fitness professionals on our team who figured it out. And that's the beauty of it. We have all different people from all walks of life who are figuring it out together. And I know when I started this, I did not have time to build a business. I didn't. I had 3 young children. And you know what? As my kids have grown, I still don't have time to build a business. But the beauty of it is I just get to fill in the cracks of my mom day with this, with something that I love doing, because it's fun and it's exciting and we get to do it together. And even when there's like ups and downs, because that's just life, it's still fun because we have a team supporting us and cheering us on. I don't know. It's pretty amazing. So I guess I just want to speak to that. Like, you can have doubts and that's okay. But you were invited to this opportunity because your coach saw something in you. And so I would take those doubts and maybe talk to your coach about them. Throw those doubts out and say, you know, I was thinking about this, but here's my objection. Here's what I'm worried about. How am I going to be able to do this? Because you know what? Your coach has probably had those same doubts and fears, and they can speak to those and walk you through that. But you know what? If I never just worked through those doubts and fears and taken this leap of faith, I cannot imagine where my life would be. I know that I would probably still be struggling with depression. I would probably still be struggling financially because this business has changed my life, even though I still don't know how to build a business, guys. But you know what? Like, I pay the mortgage, you know, total income disclaimer, like, you got to work hard. And I do, I hustle, I love it. But I'm just feeling the cracks of my mom day. And I personally pay the mortgage every month from my Beachbody business. And I just can't believe that. Like, it's unbelievable. It has been a blessing. And even if you just want to do this for fun, it's worth it. It's worth every single moment. So there you go, my dear. I'm so happy to be able to share and be on this call with you all tonight.
Thank you. That was awesome. All right. I will mute you. And so we're wrapping it up, but we're just going to have Catherine, raise your hand, and Amy, who are just going to quickly go over, you know, we heard about my story, why I joined. We heard about Elizabeth's financial success, and Danielle just addressed a lot of the misconceptions and whatnot that you might face as a Beachbody coach. And Amy and Catherine are just going to break it down real simple in terms of what the expectations are for this business, and that's it. And then we can open it up for questions, or you can leave questions on the event page once I shut down this call. So go ahead, girl. I don't know who wants to start.
Do you want me to go?
Go for it. You unmuted yourself.
You muted me. Hold on. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Amy. I've been coaching for 2.5 years, I think, now at this point. And as Jess said, Catherine and I are just going to talk about a couple different activities that we do as coaches that help us build our business a little bit, but also help us build ourselves as individuals and as human beings also. So as Jess kind of mentioned before, she said that she always wanted to do some sort of side business, but didn't really know what to do and isn't really a salesy person. And I felt the exact same way. And what I've learned is that you don't have to be a salesy person in order to invite people. Inviting, I think this took me a while to understand too, but inviting to me always meant sending like a direct message to somebody and being like, hey, you should do what I'm doing and join this group that I'm in, and just coming off very direct. And I remember at the beginning I was messaging like people that I hadn't talked to in years, and I didn't like doing that. But I've learned over time that inviting just means sharing, really. And if you think about it, like anything that interests you, if you see somebody walking down the street wearing a scarf that you like, you're going to ask them where they got it because it's something that interests you, and they're just sharing what they have. And that's kind of the same thing with this business, is when we post things online and we're sharing what we're doing, or we're just telling people about the workouts that we're doing, or I still use the eating plan containers from the 21-day fix. I mean, that's a form of sharing. And I'm mainly doing that for me when I bring those containers with me somewhere. So, but that just opens up conversations for other people to ask questions. So I think one big thing is the inviting process can come off as something different than what it really is. And you need to know that even if you're not a salesy person, you can do this, because it's not what it is. It's just sharing something that you're passionate about and that you found helps you and helps you grow. And the other thing that I'm talking about today is personal development. And I didn't even know that was a thing until I became a Beachbody coach. But I would say that that's probably the one thing that's changed my life for the better since I've become a coach. Kind of like Jess, like I didn't have a ton of weight to lose necessarily. And it's been more about the emotional journey for me. And personal development is it's what it sounds like. It's developing yourself personally. It's self-care. So that can mean listening to podcasts or watching webinars, listening to TED Talks, reading books.
And it doesn't have to be the business. It's like working on yourself.
Yeah. I mean, for the last like 2 years, those are the only types of books that I've been reading. And like Jess said, the ones that I've read recently aren't even related to anything business related. It has to do with confidence and learning to be yourself and stepping outside of your comfort zone. So I find that one really important, and that one really hits home for me. So that's something that's really had a big impact on my life and that I wouldn't have really heard about unless it was for Beachbody.
Awesome. All right, thanks. And then Catherine's just going to wrap it up with the last two vital behaviors that are expected for this business.
Go for it. You're pinned.
You just have to unmute yourself.
That'll help. Hi, I'm Catherine. I've been coaching for about 2 years. But the two things I wanted to talk about will make the inviting process really easier. One of them is being proof the product works. And honestly, we want this one to be easy for you, because if you're not loving the products, you should not be coaching. And so just making sure you're getting your daily workouts and you're drinking Shakeology or or Daily Sunshine, one of the products, because you want to be able to share it. You don't want to say, yeah, the other coaches think it's great, I don't drink it. Like, I would never want to be promoting something I didn't use. And in terms of the daily workouts, you really, really want to make sure that you're picking a program and going all the way through it. We say this to our challengers: you're not going to get the same results if you're just kind of picking and choosing. You guys know that probably from now. You have to stay with one program. And it also is just really nice. I've just finally tried like P90X3, which I would never have really picked up, and I'm loving it right now. So now I feel like I have another one to just like in my arsenal that I can be talking to people about. So I try to switch it up and try different programs. So being proof the products works is one. I also use a lot of the performance line. Like I use Recover and I use Hydrate, which really helps with breastfeeding. So, and Energize. So it's just nice to know that and be able to talk to the products. And the last one is recognition, which is just as you start off a coach, you're just recognizing your challengers. And this is something I don't do enough. You can recognize them in your small community, and you can also recognize them up on your page, your general Facebook page, just to get other people a little interested in kind of, it's another way to kind of curiosity marketing, and it's kind of like inviting without actually asking anyone. And you can recognize your coaches obviously when you have them, but so that one's, I'm just going to leave it there for now. But that's, if you're doing those 4 things, you'll be surprised at how much progress you can make with those 4 pieces. So.
And just to wrap up what they talked about, it's really just 4 things that make sense, 4 things that you probably want to do in life anyway, very natural behaviors. So being a product of the product, sharing when people ask you what you've been doing, working on your inner self, because if you don't work on your insides, you're not going to have lasting results on the outside. And then lastly, when people decide to join you, just recognizing them for what they're doing, whether it be they're motivated by a prize or they're motivated by just getting a shout out. It's, keeping those people plugged in so that they can have real results, because a lot of the companies like Weight Watchers and everything now, they're jumping on board with this coaching opportunity that we've had for a long time because it works and it's accountability. So that in a nutshell is what we do and who we are. So I really appreciate you guys jumping on. We're trying to honor the 30 minutes, so I think we went over by 4. So if you have any questions, you can ask them now. Feel free. If you don't feel comfortable, speaking up in this forum, then you guys can leave questions on the event page or reach out to your coach personally and ask them questions afterwards. So thank you guys for taking the time to join us, and I hope that you all be honest and give us feedback so that we can improve it. And okay. Oh, sorry. Does anyone have questions? I'll give you an opportunity to speak. You're all muted. Wait a minute. You can also do this little chat feature. It's really cool. Do you see that? It's picking up a little, at least on my end. Oh, okay. Okay. So no questions, that's fine. So like I said, just post them on the event wall and have a good night with today. We have one more day and then Thanksgiving. Woohoo! I'm so excited. All right. Bye, guys.